So, Caps, this is where we're starting for your extended reading in April 2021. Your first extended reading. I'm so excited to do these extendeds. It just feels right. I don't even know if anyone will get this, but I'm jumping right into it, and I'm really excited to do it. And we're starting with that near future position for you, the Two of Cups reversed, the partnership I feel like that dissolved. So I'm going to pick the Shadowscapes Tarot back up. I cut it right at the Empress. Is it a partnership dissolving for some of you, Caps? With a Taurian energy, a Cancerian energy in Taurus or Cancer season, or with a divine feminine energy in your life, your mother, a mother, the mother of your children, a divine feminine counterpart of some sort. King of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles comes through, the Three of Pentacles again. And I'll tell you what else we're going to do in this extended, Cap, is get into the astrology of it all. That's something else that will be really nice about these extendeds. I always mean to get into at least a shallow overview look at the astrology of the month, the season that I'm in as I'm recording, even though the messages I do feel like are timeless and resonate, can resonate at many different times. But oftentimes I get so into the images and the downloads and just what's coming through. There's so much coming through that I don't get into the calendar. And it's helpful to at least get into the, the new moon, the full moon, etc. The new season beginning. I also told you that we wanted to take a look at a couple of other things. We're going to need to allow the precise and impartial truth to cut away the untrue here. That's always advice that comes through just for me and how I need to be reading, helping me get through those spaces where I feel blocked. So the Five of Fire, the Five of Wands came through as another message, some more information regarding this Ten of Pentacles reversed. So we see ego drama, warring egos. I sense that it's connected to the Seven of Swords here as well. Competition, jealousy, ferocity, fierceness. I meant to say that in the first part of the reading. Need to go in, need to meditate, don't need to be influenced by your competitors or just warring egos around you in general that would like to influence you. That's I think what has gotten you in this position. Maybe keep your friends close, but keeping your enemies closer. Left you exposed, left you vulnerable, or someone. And it can be that it's been fueling and growing and encouraging that shadow in you, if that's what it is, by just, you know, allowing yourself to be exposed to too many day in and day out, over and over and over again, hungry egos, eager egos, differing opinions, but maybe specifically ignorant opinions about you or the situation that you're in general. If it judges you without having all of the pieces to the puzzle that really probably only you have. And if you allow that to, I'm hearing the word berate and feeling physical confirmation about that. If you allow that to berate you, often enough, it could fuel this shadow of yours that's already trying to undermine you, or this maybe I just mean to more specifically say this tendency of yours to self-sabotage that is already trying to undermine you. So this Four of Swords that came through on the bottom of the deck, this is part of how we protect our boundaries. Launching forward from here. Moving forward from here. And I want to say launch, because in the first part of the reading, we had the Fool card reversed coming through. And like I said, you may, if you want to fly, you may need to make it happen. You may need to get high enough to make it happen. You may need to climb a mountain so that you can. And it's more of a, it's as if the baby bird taking flight approach isn't going to work for you at this time. But the ferocity that we keep meaning to bring forward, that wanted to come forward in the first half and now is showing here again, that's being called for here, suggests that a more predatory approach may work. You know. And I think what I mean to say. And then there's your card, the Devil card. Really showing again for you, because when I was shuffling and meditating with multiple decks before initially beginning your reading, we did see this. I did. And now the Page of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, and we had the Son of Pentacles earlier in the Wild Unknown. Okay, so yeah, I think what I mean to say by that ferocity and that predatory approach is going after this collaboration, activity, project, work, this pursuit that does call to you, that does make you act fearlessly. that you are willing always to invest in energetically. You can't help but give some of your energy to and feel some sense of contentedness with, even when nothing else in your life is putting you in those vibrations. I think a lot of the resistance here, the other choice, is maybe a path that you feel leads to more money, more wealth, more resources, more stability, a greater sense of mastery, control, structure over your physical world, at least sooner. It's certain, and it's certain to happen sooner on a path that is not the same one as this one that excites you and brings you to life, as the one that you again don't notice the time passing when you're doing this thing. Fearless. Again, we said in the first half, you don't care if you look silly, if it looks dangerous, weird, wrong, questionable, scary to other people. So in the near future, it looks like that's what you're parting ways with, this sense of stability, this sense of a surer, more certain physical structure, mastery in the near future. Giving up a job, a resource, some sense of stability. And it could be a person, it could be a partner who doesn't agree with this path, who doesn't agree with this belief that leads you to this path of doing what you love, or doesn't agree with you working with these individuals who support you on it, perhaps. It could be a person. It could be a Capricorn, Taurus, another Capricorn, a Taurus, or a Virgo energy. I also just heard Leo. It could absolutely be a Leo. The Strength card did keep coming through for you. It's not at the top of any of the decks right now, of course, but I shuffled them all up for such a long time, planning to do this reading for you, these readings for you first. Your monthly, then your extended, then your love, and there'll be an extended for the love as well. I've been planning for, yeah, quite a while, since it was supposed to be a late mid-month that I did for you that just didn't go up. I don't know why I'm still irritated about that. I think for some of you, Caps, you're still irritated about whatever that personal matter was that you really wanted to deal with on your own anyway. So the Devil card, when that came through on the Four of Pentacles reversed. For a lot of you, you are your worst enemy at this time. You have yourself trapped. For others, even if it is energies external to you, you're allowing them to be there. You're calling them there vibrationally. You're a match for that experience. You're manifesting. For some of you, energies that are making you feel trapped. I mean, like, for example, if we manifest a health issue, if we have a spiritual sickness that manifests into a physical illness, we may feel very much limited by and be physically limited by that physical ailment, but we may have manifested the the illness or injury, etc. I speak from glorious experience. And if you have a real resistance to that, if you have a real resistance to this idea that you did this to yourself, you know, that you manifested this yourself. One, I'm never saying that others' free wills aren't in play, and I'm never saying that everyone's path isn't their own. But also, I'm also never asking you to do more than to entertain the idea, to think through the idea that you manifested the situation, called in the situation, in a way at least co-created, right, the situation, and see if that gives you power, in order to see if that gives you power to take at least partial responsibility for it, right? And that doesn't mean that I don't understand that sometimes the answer at the end of that exploration is, no, this was destined and fated and out of my control, and there is nothing I could have done differently. And taking too much responsibility for the situation confuses it, because that isn't what this is a matter of. So if you have if you have a lot of resistance to that, it's calling to be explored. A lot of physical confirmation about that, and that was the point I was trying to get around to. This might not be the time for all of you to dig into exploring that. It might have nothing to do with what's going on here. And you have a lot else to deal with. But it might have everything to do with what's going on here. And I think that's just all I'm supposed to say about that. But whether it is you, an internal struggle, a purely internal struggle, or one that you can also see externally in your life, someone or something is tugging on and playing with your heartstrings, your emotions. It may be an old version of yourself that you don't want to let go of. A partner you don't want to let go of. Whether that is a friend, a community, or otherwise. It's an emotional connection. It seems that at least at one time, you and this other energy really intertwined, understood one another well, worked well together. You jived, you were in rhythm, you were stepping together. You're just not now. You're not jiving to the same beat. You aren't. It seems that it's you that isn't. Who isn't. Page of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords on the bottom of the deck. I think you're seeing clearly what you want to invest in moving forward. But that means seeing clearly that investing more time, energy, money, resources, etc. on one path means making cuts. Let's dig deeper into the Six of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. Six of Pentacles. So 227766 33. It's actually 777. All numbers you might want to look into. The queens keep coming up. All the queens keep coming up for you. All the queens keep coming up for you. All the queens. So much emotion. There's so much emotion here. Whom or whatever it is that you partnered with, it's so difficult to part ways, and then a sense of feeling lost and directionless just continues without that little, well, without that stability that might have been the only thing that's been really grounding, especially recently. But, you know, yeah, you ground internally, ground yourself internally. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, in these less concrete ways. Because physically, if you want to climb a mountain so that you can leap and soar from that great height, you will have to physically allow your feet to leave the ground, but the mountain is still earth. You're just like Trinity in the Matrix walking on these walls, and it's just different. It's disconcerting. It's nerve-wracking because you're starting to walk on walls. But we watch these things. I was just recently watching that movie again. We watch these things and it looks just so possible and plausible. It takes momentum. It takes some momentum. And instead you're more in this space. And so, there we go. And so finding, curiously searching and discovering how you might be able to claim some responsibility there, any at all. Again, it might be so beneficial here. It might be everything. Grounding yourself is everything. Meditating is everything. Dance, sing, be with your pets, be with your plants. Get a pet, get a plant, get outside if you can, get in the sun, get in the grass, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you can muster. That's what I'm doing next after this. Draw energy from the earth. Connect with her, with Mother Gaia, and picture yourself drawing the energy from her, even if you can't get outside. But get a sun lamp. Put images and pictures even of these things in your face, around you, however you can. so that you're always thinking of and in tune with them, and thinking of how truly close and connected you are with them in every way, even if your walls and your weather are between you and it, or even your geography, right? It is a power source that you can draw from. You need only know that and allow it. Know it, allow it, believe it. For many of you. But this shadow work and other shadow work could be the blockage between you and you now, and you feeling like you have that ability on tap, able to access, just needing to go within, to meditate, to spend time alone in meditation, to spend time in that nature, to spend time at the very least contemplating that connection, sitting in it and with it and doing nothing but that. And that's not to say that doing activities can't be meditative. You know, any activity I suppose can be meditative if you are doing that activity just to do it. And still, I might argue that there's a difference with the complete stillness. And with this drawing energy, healing energy, productive energy for your day, energy to replace caffeine sources, sugar sources that you might feel crippled without, but know that you need to let go of. Things like this, or using it as a, you know, connecting and drawing that energy as a replacement for being able to, or not being able to get outside, for those who can't for whatever reason, not being able to get much nature into your home for those who can't for whatever reason. It requires so much focus and intention, and that's why I'm talking about sitting in the stillness. It's just sitting with that relationship, in that connection, focusing on drawing that energy, focusing on whatever you feel needs to happen in order to actually receive that energy from her. Whether you know it's possible, already do it, or are in a state of thinking, I'm not sure how realistic and concrete that actually translates to. Or how much of what you're saying actually translates to something real and concrete, real energy for me to use, a real feeling. Okay, so whichever side of that you're on, grant it permission if that's what you feel needs to happen. Ask it permission if that's what you feel needs to happen. Visualize it as an image, as a white light energy coursing through Gaia's veins and into yours. If that's what you feel needs to happen, decorate it, color it, if that's what feels right to you. Justify it logically, analyze the connection, the exchange, and justify it if that's what you feel needs to happen. But see, all of these things that are going to take your time, your intention, your focus. And with the Four of Swords having shown up as well, there's just this reminder that you don't want these. I'm not saying don't go to a meditation class. I'm not saying don't do yoga with your family, friends, whomever you can be around. I'm not saying not to do those things, but this is calling attention to the need for quiet contemplation and solitude, which suggests to me there are people in your ear. Again, these warring egos in your ear. Pulling you in the wrong directions. Leaving your unconscious and subsequently conscious mind and subsequently manifested physical reality and world reflecting images and beliefs, replaying shows that it doesn't like, reflecting images and beliefs that it doesn't identify with. And for anyone who is like really overindulging in escapism, whether it's TV or alcohol or weed or all the above, I mean, that's the trifecta, right? Or whatever else it is. Any form of escapism, things that can be habits, addictions, vices, that can be great in moderation, necessary, healthy in moderation, and too much can be bad. Anything like that, you know, it's just deepening this. I need to turn that down. It's just deepening this state and belief that that possibly those thoughts are actually your own, and it's just like cloud cover that no, you can't escape when you allow yourself to be around these people and these opinions and these words and these energies, these habits all the time. No, you can't escape the smog, the cloud cover that it creates. But sorry if I'm messing up your view of the card. But at the same time, they aren't your clouds. You're just allowing them to be in your atmosphere all of the time. And then you start running if you start running from them with this escapism, most forms of this escapism, you're deepening the state that allows you to confuse whether those are your thoughts or not. You've already got them bouncing off your walls and they don't belong to you, to the point where they're convincing you maybe they're right. I don't mean to get so worked up and so harsh with you. We've already gone way over what I meant to, but Caps, I didn't get your reading out. I couldn't get it edited. I couldn't get it up. I've said that 5 times. I am sorry about it. And so you're going to get that love reading as well. And I'm so happy to have started the extendeds with you. Connecting to some of April 2021's astrology, like I said, we might. We do have on the 3rd, Mercury moving into Aries. Yeah, so I think as far as the Page of Swords showing up a couple of times for you, Capricorns are definitely not the only ones who are going to be having difficulties in sharing, communicating harsh truths, delivering them, receiving them. It seems to be a theme of the month in general for for, I mean, for many, for at least a certain portion of it. And then we had the Aries new moon on the 11th. So I feel like that beginning that's been hindered, halted, delayed, that new beginning, new emotional beginning, that's been blocked in some way, I think, for anyone experiencing that, the energy around the 11th can really help with releasing that. Give opportunity for unblocking that. And then we have Venus moving in to Taurus, of course. So, you know, with this partnership dissolving, as I said, I don't know if it was in the first part of the reading or another piece of this extended, but as I said, it's like love was understood between these two energies, between you and this other person, or you and this other energy at one time. But is that the case now? And I think Venus and Taurus is going to, again, be presenting opportunities for, but the energy all around that will be encouraging an inspection of if that love is up to par. And just because these two energies aren't understanding one another anymore, it doesn't mean that they weren't emotionally connected, that they didn't emotionally connect, that they didn't understand one another, even to the point of love. Again, I think it is definitely an emotional partnership and connection. But even if two energies did at one time, Taurus and Venus is going to need that understanding, that mutual emotion to be mutual and to resonate and pass inspection now. And it might not anymore, right? And the other reason that we see all the queens and so much emotion and maybe confusion from all that emotion coming through is that coming up on the 23rd, Mars is going to move into Cancer, of course. I believe that's the right date. And I think this is something else nudging and encouraging you in the direction of this pursuit that you love to do, or see a viable collaboration in doing, so that see that you have support in doing. You either have support, and you know, I think that's the case. You have some support, a smaller group of support, but other energies, other people especially, may not understand. But it's either about that support or about that that collaboration, or the love for the activity, the pursuit. And so with Mars moving in Cancer, what you're doing will be about what you love. So it's either about, you know, like I said, that collaboration that works, the support that's there, what is viable about that, or loving the pursuit itself, or both. And so, you know, we're looking at doing what you love, doing what you're doing with love, feeling a deep, and if not, you know, if you, and I think you would look at it that way, but if not that way, you know, feeling a deep emotional connection to what you're doing, or how you're doing it, or who you're doing it with, feeling at home in that collaboration, in that activity, in that pursuit, and feeling very emotional about one of those connections or all of the above. And then, of course, there's the pink full moon on the 26th. The pink full moon. Just turning my music back up a little bit. Yeah, it signifies rebirth traditionally, symbolically. It is known to the pink full moon. And so again, just like around the new moon on the 11th, around the 26th, we see more opportunities to begin where there was resistance, move into a new beginning where there was resistance. And this is beginning again in a whole new way, and allowing an old life, an old version of self to pass on in order to carry on with one's self without being at war with oneself. Some of this feuding may just be inside ourselves, inside yourselves, Capricorns. So there needs to be a death of a situation, death of a connection, death of a self in a sense around this time. So that inner feud can cease. So that the version of you that is going to prevail and evolve and move forward and keep growing can do so with some sense of peace. That's a lot of this grounded energy as well, which of course we're seeing because the sun moves into Taurus on, I believe, the 19th. Is it the 19th? Is it the 21st? I don't know. Something like that. So we'll have Venus in Taurus, and then the sun's in Taurus after that. Yeah. So a lot of Taurian energy coming in could be another reason that we saw the Queen of Pentacles, the Empress energy, why I said there could be a Taurus energy involved. And then the last thing I'm looking at is that Pluto goes retrograde on the 27th. And it's like being allowed, I think around that time you're going to be allowed and even in some sense celebrate and enjoy, some of us are, this permission to explore these shadows and restrictions. Self-made prisons. Tendencies to self-sabotage for some of you, as we were talking about. Yeah, stealing time, tendencies for some of you to steal time for yourself that evolves into stealing time from yourself, if you know what I mean. Things like that, things like we've been talking about, and even, you know, shadow aspects in terms of this tendency to escape, which could be the same thing that we're talking about there. And maybe the resistance to this Six of Pentacles that's mirrored and echoed and emphasized. The resistance to honoring and acting as if we know that we get what we give, that we grow what we invest. We reap and see the rewards of our investments. And I think you're addressing that even earlier in this time period or in the month. Because I see you, especially with this version of the Six of Pentacles, embracing that, you know, maybe what you give can be like play to you, you know, can be healing to you too, can be beautiful, can be fun, can be like play, can be like playing. There we go. Right? What you give and invest in order to grow can be this relaxing and fun and rewarding, even in just in itself, in the act itself for you. That can be what you utilize to give and then to grow, to invest. That if that is where you are talented or are willing to dedicate your time and energy, even if it feels like play to you, then that talent and or dedication is what will ultimately grow the most for you also anyway too. And I don't know why with a Pluto retrograde I'm seeing that inspection of those types of shadows because of what Pluto has to do with, because of Pluto and Scorpio traits alike, and the Scorpio full moon being right before the Pluto retrograde on the 27th, but it just feels like a scorpionic glow at its heights teaches us about these things, and then has permission, and then that energy within us has permission to not only retreat into some of the depths of some of those shadows and inspect them, because we know enough about them now to not be so afraid of them, to feel untangled a bit, to feel practiced at handling situations that they create the right way, the healthy way for us, the way we want to moving forward, or ready to do so, ready to practice, ready to have a go at it. And so not only to retreat into that inspection, but and especially those shadows that deal with others, death of self. For you here, we see giving what we get, what we can, and what we can give, what we're willing to give, and invest, knowing that we'll get back, reap rewards that mirror what we invested. But also not only to retreat into them, but into the depths of them, but to enjoy it. It feels like it's enjoyable, and maybe that's just me, but I feel like for many of us, and I have a Capricorn stellium, I feel like for a lot of us, it's going to feel good. It's going to feel good to address some of these things. It's going to feel good to take a hard look at them. It's going to feel good to feel ready to face it, to feel ready to deal with it, ready to unlock it, and then actually do so, and then carry through with that, follow through with that. So, I took a look at your numbers as well. Some of these repetitions, we're seeing so many. And you know, this collaboration that we're talking about, for some of you, we could be talking about a trinity situation. So maybe it's not, maybe the project, maybe the work, maybe the passion, maybe the direction that calls to you because it makes you feel fearless and supported. Isn't about, you know, a passion project or a career pursuit or something for just yourself. Maybe it is about creating a trinity situation for yourself, a family, partnering with someone who already has a child or that you see yourself having a family with. But it is, I feel like for most, well, I definitely feel like it is in alignment with you being on your path to your higher purpose. Whether we're talking about a relationship, a family type of collaboration, or otherwise, right? It's about the right path for you at this time, the one that you want to be on. With 777, there certainly seems to be divine guidance in the reading, which, you know, didn't we say in the first half of the reading that's already posted on YouTube, didn't we say it's as if someone's like back is up against a wall and they're down and out, and they feel like I don't have any options left. I can't do this for myself. I'm just going to wait for someone to sort of rescue me and come get me out of this situation. I think the camera's like tired or something. So yeah, there is divine guidance here. You know, it's as if someone was thinking I would need someone to do something for me, and there is divine guidance coming here. Oh, and we saw 6-6 as well. Connections, social connections. Maybe it can't be in person, right? Maybe it can't be in person. Maybe there is a way to be part of this collaboration, even if it can't be in person, even if that's the mountain that has to be climbed. That seems so relevant in April 2021. That would absolutely be a symbolically a mountain to climb. If you don't have tech in your home, if you don't have practice with tech, if you don't have the know-how, you don't have the help, and there's distance between you and the collaboration you want to be a part of, but you have to learn how to work all this new stuff and buy it and get it in your home and get it set up and figure out who you reach out to for help when you inevitably have issues with it, and just, you know, keep swimming for an indefinite amount of time, or keep climbing rather for an unknown amount of time. Really, it's not even like you can gauge the peak of that. It's like an infinite mountain. I can totally see that being like the mountain that would have to be climbed in order to be part of the collaboration. But if that's who you're meant to be working with, what you're meant to be doing, what you love to do, and this is your opportunity to do it, and this is your choice that leads to an equal exchange of energy, you're going to get back enough from this to warrant what you're putting into it. And otherwise you feel out of options and your back's against the wall and you're waiting for some divine rescue and this information is it, then it may be time to shift. Let someone help you. Someone may have to come into your home, into your life, into your business. Let someone help you. Let someone help you figure it out. I mean, you know, that just may be another great analogy, but this extended is so long now. These extendeds will not be this long. This is the first one. So I'm feeling out what works. Are we going to look at numerology and astrology in this much detail every time? And I know that wasn't a lot of detail, but it's time. I don't know. I don't know if we'll do that every time. It sort of depends, you know, when the cards want to keep talking and keep talking and keep talking. And I have had a little caffeine, I suppose. And the messages and downloads are just coming in and coming through. Emotions came out of the Dreams of Gaia tarot. Surprise. So yeah, I was also thinking with Mars and Cancer, it might be about you wanting to do what you do from your home. And maybe you don't. Some of you want to learn how to figure out how to do that. Or embarrassingly enough, maybe, you know, a lot of people aren't bothered by the fact that they still don't know how to interwebs in 2021. But some people are at this day, in this day and age, are almost like embarrassed by the fact that they didn't ever get good at that. And it's like anything else. That means you spent time doing other things, right? So it could be that. But there, yeah. So there might be some resistance around it, but on some level you may really want to figure out how to, or you may have your reasons why it would benefit you to figure out how to do what you do from your home and in your home. But yeah, we'll look at emotions and let this just be super long. And then I suppose I'll also tell you I'm seriously considering posting these extendeds at the end of the month. So like the last week or few days or very last day of the month. Since it will, for a while, it will undoubtedly be so much content that was created for maybe no one or very few people. And then that way, yeah, that might not be how it stays moving forward, but at least for the first few months, just to let people see what it is that they'd be spending their $5.55 on. Anyway, so just so you know, if you purchase this is for those of you who might have purchased it prior to that. Just so you know, that is that's probably going to happen at the end of the month. Don't be upset about that. If you're upset about that for some reason, let me know. So emotions. All emotions are necessary. And yeah, I was getting that feeling earlier when I started talking about the right path. What I was meaning to say was, I feel like you are on it. I feel like this is all part of it. I feel like this is so necessary. The confusion, the back against the wall, have no options, looking to the divine, looking for divinity in your distortion, as if the moon card is here with us with all this emotion, clouding your judgment. You've been sensing for some time that this partnership would have to come to parting ways, you know? And you've been emotional about it and in pain about it and maybe selfish in certain areas because of that. Let's see what else this says here. Use your feelings to evaluate a situation. Repressing emotions creates disease. Positive emotions open you to learning. Fill your day with laughter. Remember I said I can see somebody cackling. Never mind that. I'm just knocking things over. The key message of the emotions card is that feeling and emotions are neither good nor bad. All are necessary. When you hold a simple unmarked magnet in your hand and look at it, can you tell a difference between the negative pole and the positive pole? No, you cannot. In the same way, negative emotions are indistinguishable to positive emotions. They're simply the opposites of each other. And both poles are necessary for us to function in a whole and healthful manner. So yeah, that's so much of what this is that you don't want to feel the weight, the pain of this betrayal, the reality of it, what it has to mean. Likely for a lot of you connected to this separation, this parting of ways, the severance of a bond in some sense. It's making way for something so much different, but I want to say so much better for you and your health ultimately. You're just trying to escape having to the emotions it makes you feel to have to leave an old way, an old version of yourself or someone behind, and you can't have the positive without the negative. They literally need each other to function healthily within us. And the emotions we feel play a fundamental role in the retention of memories. So if your mind matters more to you at this time, you wouldn't want to lose it over refusing to face what emotions are there that need to be dealt with. You know, consider the alternative. Consider not leaving this old version of yourself, this old way of being and doing things, this person who may have betrayed you, or habit that may have betrayed you, or this person that may just not understand you anymore, these people that may just not. Consider the alternative. Consider how you might deal with those emotions, face the emotions that brings up if you don't leave and take your new beginning. Because there's a lot of other emotions. Now there's resentment, now there's guilt, now there's blame. That's just the tip of the iceberg, right? Now there's a mess, a whole new can of juicy, emotional, negative, mostly worms to unpack and deal with. So consider the alternative. Start walking in that direction then, because I think that'll do it for you. Especially if you've made it this far into the extended with me. It's like an hour-long extended. They won't generally be this long. Of course, if you've been with me, if you know my videos, my content, my channel at all, I always say that. And I very rarely actually dwindle things down, condense them. But I feel like even if it takes years, I really am getting to that point. So that's why I always say it, because I'm always getting there. And I think that's another reason that this is emotional for you, Capricorns. I was thinking, why would it be such an emotional attachment for those of you who might have to just like invite tech into your home, or learn how to be better at tech so that you can work from home or something, or be a part of a long distance collaboration. And that makes more sense. It may just be apparent to you that that journey is going to take years. That there are other people doing what you do or something similar to what you do, but they've been practicing with technology for so much longer, maybe their whole lives. And it's going to take you years to get to where they're at. And that might be what's so emotional about it. You know, you're letting go of a version of you, a way of life where you could have been top dog, or at least a knowledgeable, educated contender. And here you just feel like that baby chicklet. I've wanted to cry a few times in your reading, Caps, and normally Leo does that to me, and I don't hate it, but I refrain from expressing it as much anymore because I don't want it to be speaking to a lack of boundaries for me, or me needing to do more work on my boundaries to do these readings, and I don't want it to come off that way, whether it is or isn't. And I just need to just let go of all of that, probably. But this reading has made me very emotional. And I even feel for those people who are in a situation similar to that. You're letting go of somewhere of a terrain where you were prowling around, and now you're this scared baby chicken hopping up a side of a mountain, hoping to get high enough to jump off and fly, and even then you'd have to fly for the first time ever. So yeah, I'm crying with you, I'm laughing with you, I feel it, and I have so much love for you, Caps. I think I've included all of the extra that I accidentally left out now.